Just watching my live stream I just did. So she went to go decorate the home because they do Christmas parties too. She does Thanksgiving and Christmas party. So um right, another person was asking about what's going on with my housing. Okay. Spiritually, and after you explain it to them, you would think they stopped doing it, but so far they haven't. Uh, they don't house me. They don't house me. They don't house my species. Because you just go, what's going on? It's been 15 years. What's going on? Until they accept that that's what it is, like face masks meant ACE inhibitors, until they accept that's what it means, unfortunately, it's going to be every and any excuse. Apparently, that is what God is doing. He wants them to know for some reason. Um, right? It's important for them to know for some reason. Um, some of it could be if they're trying to force their children to do certain behaviors and things, and their children are not my species. That's unfair to them. And then if they want to spend more time with them and stuff like that. Um, right, mental hospital. Hopefully, people are understanding that. Okay. You have to follow US and Massachusetts law. Okay? You have to. And then it becomes, but why are you doing criminal acts? Why are you doing it? Because people want me to help them to get these people to stop working. You should understand how sort of scary it is if people have brain disease and they're still trying to do medical procedures and section people and hold them in hospitals against their will. That's a very serious thing. And deciding on your own that people that you're claiming are so mentally ill they have to be sectioned against their will and they have a brain injury, they can somehow then tell you something after the fact. And here we are at the eighth day, and that's still the reason. I explained what happened in 2021 when I was illegally evicted from a house in Dedham. The president signed an executive order to halt evicting people that would end up on the street or in a shelter. That's me. Okay. Tom Kent went to Dedham District Court. They told these people to stop trying to evict us. So a court in Dedham told them to stop it, and your president, the federal government, told them to stop it, and they wouldn't. Literally going into the house. So then they threatened. So this has to do with the mental hospital. Okay. They threatened to put Barbara Kent into a nursing home against her will and against her children's will, just to get us out of a house because they have severe brain injury. They're mentally insane. That's a primate behaviorism when they're under duress. The videos were posted. We can go over it again. Where um, when they're sick like that and their members are dying, they go into another clan group, murder the children, and rape the females, and force those people into their clan group. Okay, that's waging war against people. Okay, they start out trying to do it through the courts and the law, and when they don't get what they want, they do straight out illegal criminal acts like coming right into the house and then trying to use um, not the power of attorney, but trying to use sectioning people, threatening to lock them away in psychiatric hospitals and nursing homes when they have no real authority to even do that. It went to the court, and Tom Kent went, and apparently someone crawled out of the woodwork, one of Barbara Kent's children she has no contact with, and someone told the court they didn't know where I was, which was a lie. I was right in Quincy Center where I always am. Okay, who knows why they lied. Tommy might have thought I was going to get in trouble or something. I have no idea. But someone lied to the court. I saw the paperwork after he died. I had no idea this happened until after he died in 2024. I saw the paperwork from the court, and they actually wrote "parts unknown." Like, that's funny. Like we're in the Wild West or something. Parts unknown, and that I don't have a phone. That's why they can't call me. Someone may have tried to call Father Bills. Again, it's another insanity where they tell everyone that calls they can't tell them if I'm there or not. It wouldn't matter what the emergency is. Like I'm a kidnapped hostage there. So anyways, after Tommy got to be a payee and rented a house, he drove out to Quincy and picked me up. He didn't know where I was. How did he show up right in Quincy Center where I was? And I was literally outside in the ground for 2 months and posting on Facebook. Okay? So clearly he knew where I was. So again, clearly these people probably watch stuff online and they lie. Okay. Just right. Guess what? Phone staying on. I already talked to people about it. Phone staying on. Yep. Phone is staying on. It works if it's plugged in. I still have phone service. It's still the same phone number. I still have the same email address. Okay? So people that thought that that was gonna help them and they're waiting for me to get a new phone number and stuff, not gonna happen. Oh, I have a new phone number, but I also still have the other phone number. I don't have to cancel it. Nope. When you pay for your own phone service, you don't have to cancel your government phone. I don't know if you knew that. Especially when it's not your name. So let's just say I have access to a phone because it's not my phone. It's technically not actually my phone, you know. It's not my phone, it's not my phone number, it's not my phone line. Okay. So, right, I still have to have a government phone because it's not actually my phone. It's not my phone and it's not my phone service and it's not my phone line. So we'll nip that in the bud. Also, I also stated it's my belief as soon as he gets out of that place, he'll block me on Facebook and he'll change his photo. We would think, right? You're gonna change your photo from you're married and it's a picture of you and I. Okay. So in 2023, we can guess once he got access to his Facebook, he changed the photo to a cartoon and then eventually blocked me. So it all they know, okay, because they refuse. This is how they would have saved their ass. This is how they would have saved their ass, but they're so dumb, and God apparently doesn't put the idea in their head. All they had to do was call on a phone and talk to me, especially the first day. And they probably all they would have got what they thought that they wanted, just like the psychopath, just like the psychopath with brain injury and a power of attorney that's notarized. Right. So you go, what's your options at this point? Is he mentally incompetent? He's seen a psychiatrist by now, right? Is he mentally incompetent? Where's my thing from the court that now I have full power of attorney that he can't cancel? I don't even know if he can cancel the one he signed. Someone said all you gotta do is rip it up. I'm not sure that's true if you're sectioned to a hospital against your will and you're deemed mentally incompetent. I'm not sure he can. Right, at that point, it's supposed to go to a court. So you go, "Is someone else actually trying to, 1, court section this person, and 2, become his payee without even notifying me?" All you can do is sit back and go, "What the fuck?" That's all you can do is sit back and go, "What the fuck? Where is this person's spouse? You just said that he needs Social Security because he has a brain injury and he's mental competent. When did he become mentally incompetent? After a week in your hospital? Now you're at malpractice. When did he become mentally incompetent? That it goes before a judge? Because that's the only thing that nullifies that power of attorney. I'm not sure ripping it up does. Right. It becomes null and void when he becomes mentally incompetent. Right? So is he mentally incompetent? Then how is he in your hospital like that? Oh, you can be mentally ill but not mentally incompetent? Okay. It looks bad, doesn't it? Yeah, it looks real bad where you go. He called her and he was clearly groveling, trying to get back with her, and then said, "Love you," and housing and all this crap. And then I'm gonna go. The last words out of his mouth is, "I'm gonna go talk to the director and tell him that I have a healthcare proxy." He knows because even without that sheet of paper, legally, I'm your healthcare proxy because you're sectioned against your will. I think the heartless nature of it too, where you go, what's going on with his wife though? Isn't she street homeless? Is like, how did this whole incident not going to keep paying for that? Okay, right. The state's not going to keep paying for you people to lie to keep homeless people in detoxes and hospitals and charging Mass Health for it. They're not because we're putting a stop to it for a reason I just explained to you. It's called housing, not you keep doing that. It's called fraud. And I don't know. I would think the easiest thing to do is to cut off your funding. Mass Health will be told that no patients that have Mass Health will be admitted to your hospital. That's the first thing. It's unfortunate, but I mean, when you become too sick to treat patients, that's what has to be done to protect the public. Okay. Um, Clearly, since 2020, no one's doing a transition plan. And if you were, you wouldn't cut Mary Gladys out of what you're doing. That's how we know. When I went to the Social Security office in 2020, they knew they had to heavy nuke you. You took over a federal government office that prints money. Okay? That's waging war against the United States of America. I've explained it to people a bunch of times if they didn't know that happened. They took over the DTA office and the Social Security office in Quincy. Just Nazi youth, um, that are not approving every stipend. So it doesn't mean the people working there now are those people, but in 2020 they were. So um, I don't know what they thought they were doing with the face masks and shutting things down, but taking over the United States of America and continuing to print money for themselves, but not running a Social Security administration or a DTA office, which is pretty concerning. Yeah, we went over this. Leukemia, clearly injecting mercury into newborns' brains. They began doing this, what was it, 1980? Well, first, people were all over the internet. You had people on a television explaining to you about the vaccines. And then clearly people were still doing it. So then I would fathom that they thought that you were doing it by choice. Okay. But then it becomes becoming criminally culpable for vaccinating people when you know that it's making people sick. Um, right. Some people are elitist Nazis and they don't vaccinate their own children, and they will tell you that you need to vaccinate yours, and they think that that provides an immunity for their children. You have to think about how sickening that is, where they're purposely mentally retarding your children and then they're sending their children to Harvard, because that's exactly what that is. It's constant. Yeah. Hi. Thank you.
Anytime.
See you later, Nancy.
He didn't do anything. I did catch
Oh,
him a few
no.
times. He did pee, but
Thank
other
you.
than that-
Thank you for trying. Yeah. He'll probably poop on the floor later.
Yeah, say that.
Oh, sorry.
It's smart that he ignores the cold, so he doesn't want to come out.
Maybe.
Even when you go to put the sweater on, he doesn't want to put a pen in there.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
You're a good boy. See you later, fucking puppy.
Oh, that's my headphones totally broke now. Oh well. I was using them for this thing. I haven't tried to see if I can get a Bluetooth to go. I got these at the library. They were free. And it's like as soon as that thing bends once, it's over. Well, yeah, I know. Maybe they have them at the library. I'll just have to probably. Those are the cheap headphones, but I like them sometimes. Yeah, sometimes I'm having a trouble connecting Bluetooth devices to these laptops for whatever reason that is, and it's probably because someone went into them and destroyed them. Yeah, they just went in and did whacked out stuff to the laptop. So I explained some of that. So anyway, back to the thing about the vaccines. Per my job, um, we went over that in depth. God, it's probably 10 years ago now. The Hindu goddesses and what that means medically. Um, K Amr, not Kamer. What's it? Um, Dipotassium chlorate. If you look up an anthrax vaccine, it describes in detail how it was made. So K is potassium. So that was like the original vaccine, was an anthrax vaccine, and explains how um, whatever you want to call that's a bacteria, right? Formed an outer shell and then did what usually viruses do, where they mutate. If you're mixing two things together, you don't know what they're going to do because you're not the creator. So also genes is 3, explains it in detail about the bonds, right? Good and evil, eyes open. They took leaves and covered themselves, and why the big eaters can't see them, and then stuff uh, like HIV. So um, they mutate. So only God is going to kill those things, and that was also explained about it. Apparently, there's some people that have a natural immunity to HIV, and so those people's immune systems knows what to do with it. Okay, that's fact. Look it up. Um, there are people that are naturally immune to HIV and herpes, by the way. And so their body, their immune system, at least while their immune system is up to par, we don't know what's going to happen with you know, uh, the ionizing radiation lowering your immune system. We don't know. But aside from that, as that dies down and that radioactive material decays over time, there are people that are immune, and then in theory, those people will produce and produce and produce, and then everybody that's still here will be immune to HIV. So there won't be, there's no HIV like polio, then you can't give it to people. Also, we went over about sexual morality and how human beings actually think. It's actually not a utopia or a theory. You can swear up and down that you know me and I'm lying, and that's fine. All I can do is explain myself. I don't just romp around horny. I usually um, what a man's face looks like is pretty much important to me. And then clearly there's certain physical traits that are just completely unattractive to me. In nature, it makes sense because it means they're unhealthy or depressed or both. So I generally look at a man's face, like his face. If you're like super duper, like charismatic, is that the word? Like used to be Jim Morrison. But the other thing too is I don't really I've seen the videos and I go, yeah, I guess I can see how some people think he's hot. I real even then you just go makes it even worse. But some people might say I see people differently than other people do. And when you like someone, you see them differently. And then when you don't like them anymore, they seem different. Like he immediately looked bloated and bad. And my roommate goes, he always looked like that, Mary. Right? You just when you're enamored with someone, you just see them differently. So right, I get that a lot from Brian, people around me, especially in 2023, because apparently some people thought his appearance was worse than, and just his behavior and how dirty he was, like picking his nose right in front of you and stuff like that, and just not changing his clothes, not brushing his hair, having like that scaly skin all around his ears and his eyes and stuff. Um, right. So I think some people and whatever his behavior was out of my presence too. So and he used to do a lot more disgusting, like weird, perverted sex speech and stuff. And apparently, sometimes when I'm not around him, he like flashes his dick at people and stuff. So I'm sure that's probably um, horrifying to see, and then know that that's the person I'm going out with or married to, and you go, "What is going on?" So he told me about it at Nashua Street that he did it. Sometimes sex offenders take their penis out and they don't know why they did it. So he claims that someone said he didn't actually have a dick, and he goes, "Oh, really?" and took it out and showed it to him. Right. I mean, clearly there's a lot of abuse in the background. He was taught that behavior. He's looking at his rape victim's father's penis. So there's a lot of weird, gross stuff going on. Just, they're still gonna call. They put. I know you go. Did you call Marie? Someone knows if they did. Did you call Marie? Did the mental hospital call Marie? Who knows? Maybe she's a half normal person, and she's just, or at least now she is, right? She just goes, "I'm not coming to another hospital, Brian." Like, say he called her, right? Say they called her. Hopefully to God, she said, "Did you call his wife? We just went through this in June. We just went through this in June. I'm not coming to another hospital. No, you need to call his wife." They did not call me. Trust me. Okay? They did not call me. Nope. The only voicemails that were on my phone were from Brian. Right, the patient calls and says, "Don't come here," because he doesn't wanna be sectioned. He wants to control everything he's doing. But I show up there and I go, "What do you think? You wanna do another dual diagnosis? So what, 30, 90 days, and then we're still not in housing and you get paid?" Being completely insane. It's definitely time to put a stop to it. Yep, it's definitely time. Just like they're gonna close shelters, I told you that. They're gonna close shelters and keep warming centers open like they do in New Mexico. They'll just sleep outside on benches and on the street. They did it all summer, okay? And then in the winter, there'll be more and more warming centers. You'll have no choice but to open more warming centers, not just go, that we have one. It only holds 35 people. You need more of them, and that's all that people need in the public showers and the food and clothing that you're giving them. That's all they need. And they get to sit in the library or Star Market or Smith Center. That's all they need. I should say us. That's all we need. Okay. And our Social Security. Right. Until you people can come out of this and give us regular housing, that's all we need. Enough of there's a shelter. Enough of go to the emergency room. Enough of drink and go to a detox. No, enough. You've got people purposely lying and saying that they're drunks and drug addicts so they can have a bed to sleep in. It's absolutely disgusting. Anyways, I got a dough out, even though I had cheesecake last night with whipped cream, and I haven't taken my walk in 2 days. So tomorrow I'm definitely gonna take my walk. I did my online check-in for my surprise. Going on a cruise by myself now. Planes, trains, and automobiles, all by myself. I know you just go, never again, never again. Those people are not gonna go, dude. First, they're not gonna go, dude, you're the stupidest person alive, man. Yeah. It's just I was explaining it to another person today and they go, he is really stupid. Right, you go, why didn't you just take this trip and then get rid of your wife? She's that terrible. You can't you at a campground with her for 6 weeks and you can't go on an 11-night cruise and then dump her ass? Wow. Right. He could have drank on that, and what would I be able to do about it? Nothing. I'd be able to do nothing about it. He could have done the same thing. Meet someone on the cruise, drink, and go back to their cabin with his sea pass. You just go, you are so dumb. Right, just anyway. I think he should know that it wasn't just that, it was another vacation and then possibly a third vacation. The trip to the Bahamas I won. You take a, ferry from Fort Lauderdale to, Grand Bahama Island, it's 3 nights. I would have probably done 7 nights if it was him and I, and you pay $59 a night, like, none of it resonates in his head. $59 a night, Wyndham in Orlando, it's a Wyndham resort. Anyways, this is about the mental hospital and explaining to people that, oh, what I was saying is I think that I don't know if she knew that Candy wasn't here or something, or she can just hear me talking. But yeah, she's got to return the dog at some point. Not me. You just go, oh God, it's just been one of those days. Right. That's why I have to take. It's not the only reason I take a walk, obviously, but if I can't talk straight for 2 hours, I literally will become the biggest bitch you ever met in your life. I'll seem like the meanest, like, yeah, I'll seem two-faced and mean and all this because you're not you yourselves don't understand that you're overwhelming. Yeah, I'm just being honest, right? I'm just being honest. Just I can't 24 hours a day. Um, for one, listen to another person, and this has nothing to do with my sister, by the way, because she doesn't do this. She's usually popping in and out. She goes in there. She's sort of like me. She needs time on the phone. She wants to go in there and watch TV by herself and do tool around on her phone and stuff. Like other people aren't like that. And you just go, oh my God. Yeah. I wonder if that's why she didn't like the cruise as much. She's cruised with me before. Yeah. Um, yeah, I think that might be part of it. Like she realized 24 hours a day with the same people, it was just sort of like this is too much. Oh yeah, one thing, I have to call Royal Caribbean and Amtrak on Monday. I also need to ask them about this cabin they assigned us because I looked up the picture and went, why would they even give us that cabin? Unless that they were going to give us that when it was Brian and I. Right, you just go, again, this dude, I know you just go, "Oh my god, this dude." They go 8711, like, 'cause he was born in 1987. Anyways, you just go, that's not gonna work for my sister and I, because you can see they can't separate the bed. I know it's an interior guarantee, but aren't all the interiors supposed to be the bed can separate in 2 beds? I've never heard of one where you can't separate the bed into 2 beds. Right, you go, that would be I'd have to sleep on the couch. What do you invite person on a cruise and then all of a sudden tell her, "And by the way, now you're gonna sleep on a love seat for 11 nights?" No, I guess I'd sleep on the love seat for 11 nights. Yeah, you just go, uh, I'll see what they say. You go, "Is that gonna separate into 2 beds?" Right? Because 'cause I'm not sleeping in the same bed with my sister. No, we both said that. We went, "Nope, not sleeping in the same bed with my sister." No, you just go, "Whoa." Anyways, this happened to her on her cruise. So apparently this does happen, right? Where it was like a pull-out couch and something, and then all of a sudden one of the other people didn't want to sleep on the couch or something, and you go, because she's tall, and still she slept on a love seat. You go, anyways. Uh, it has nothing. It's a guaranteed interior for 2 people. They're supposed to have 2 beds. It's not even 3 people. It's 2 people. No, 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 no. Anyway, so Monday I have to call Amtrak because I'm pretty sure I can get a couple bucks back on the 4 train tickets I bought for this dude. Thanks. Thanks. I haven't done anything with myself. I just bought a hair color yesterday, but I'm not going to do it yet because I want it to still be good for the trip. It's going to be darker than this. Yeah, this is 2 free hair colors. But I used to be blonde, but I don't think it was that blonde. Um, anyways, um, bought a hair color, bought shampoo and conditioner. It was like because it's Christmas time, so Walmart had shampoo, conditioner, and leave-in conditioner for $10. And usually, just the shampoo and the conditioner alone are more than $10. So I made the expense yesterday, even though I have that stuff in my storage. That's another thing too. Eventually, I'll have to go to my storage. I had someone offer for me to move all of my stuff into her storage, and I might actually take her up on it because that eliminates the bill. And I'm going to be gone for the entire month of January. So, right, then we're into February, and then it's February, March, and April, and then I'll go camping all the summer. So I might not need to have a storage out there. It is the cheapest one. You never know. Maybe there's a cheap one here. Um, right. You just go, how much clothes am I going to need? But then I'd have to carry it around. Yeah. I haven't decided yet. But it would definitely save me $56 a month in storage fees. So um, at some point in time, I have to go there. I have hardly any. I have to do laundry tonight. What time is it? Maybe 5. I'll go over there. Um, I got to do laundry. I only brought like 2 outfits there, and she was right when she said bring plenty of clothes. But my state of mind, yeah, because the whole thing was I was tired of carrying all that stuff around. I was starting to get physically worn down. Um, so I didn't bring enough clothes. And then eventually I've got to go and take just a bunch of stuff and bring it back here. And then it will end up probably that might be the stuff that goes in her storage. Yeah, because I got to find out what I'm actually bringing on the strip. I got to try stuff on, make sure it's laundered, packed. My sister bought the same train tickets I have, so she'll be on the same trains. Um, what else is going on? So yeah, call Amtrak because I guess I get a 25% penalty on the 4 tickets. It's something when you get it. Why would I just throw away the whole $200? And then I'm pretty sure that I can change my second cruise to a singleton and still get like 100 something back, like 130 back. So I'm going to do that. Um, that that covers the one excursion I booked. And then if I want to do something a perfect day for myself, maybe I'll go on the hot air balloon for $50 for 10 minutes or 3 minutes. I think it's 3 minutes. No, I don't think I've ever been on a hot air balloon. So I might as well go skydiving, go up the hot air balloon. Um, I wasn't gonna do the thrill water park. I was gonna do it for Brian. That's the whole get it? You just go, whoa. Not maybe me, but I'm sure I could just go. The amount of people that listen to this going, why can't I find a person like that I'm actually like sexually attracted to? Why on earth wouldn't God put someone like that in my life? I know. You just go, dude, nothing on earth is gonna make you happy. Nothing. You're an awful person until you can actually believe that and not keep trying to con people. You're a terrible person. That's why you can't get well because you're awful. Like you're just an awful, awful person, you know. It, it, I know, like, they're helping him not have to listen to. Dude, I paid you helped pay for it, but, I mean, you go, that's a marriage. How else would a married couple pay for anything? How would a married couple pay for a Christmas present for their spouse? Okay? So, clearly you helped pay for it. But this time, I have an income, unlike when I was married before, and it's all he didn't even act like that, by the way, that it was his money. Brian got to the point of stopping acting like that too. That's a typical married man where it's not even that. You're just married. It's just money. It's a joint account. And he didn't go, give me. He had his own ATM card, by the way, because he didn't do all this fucked up shit. Give me my checkbook back every other fucking month. No, he didn't do that. He handed it to me once, and that was it for about 12 years. That one knew, don't even let me have my own checkbook. And then go, can I spend this much money? Because he knew that he had a problem. It didn't take him all these times and times and times and violent threats and stuff. You just go. Anyways, planes, trains, and automobiles. I wasn't even going to tell the dude until the first cruise was over and the train hit back to Boston. And because we've been having a close relationship with my sister, we could have came right here from the train. Right, like we're just going to spend a night or two here, because it's freezing out, it's winter time, blah, 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 all that, right? And so then, guess what? Right. Oh, yeah, let's do some laundry. And then it's, guess what? We got to get back on the train. Yep, we're going to the airport. Planes, trains, and automobiles. Your vacation's not over. Like, yeah, you just go, woo, your vacation's not over. What are you talking about? We're flying to Florida. We're going on a 4 night. We're going a perfect day at Coco Cay. We're going to Royal Beach Club. We're going in heated pools. We're going in. Yeah, you just go. We're gonna go on. We're doing the water park. Oh yeah, we maybe even the hot air balloon. It's perfect day. Can you just imagine? Most people don't even think to do that shit when they have money. Right. You just don't you don't you're not me. Like, you don't go, "Yeah, I wanna really do something really good for her or him." I know you don't. No, you don't. I didn't just come out from a turnip truck. That guy never did anything like that for me. I was with him for 20 years. He had plenty of money to do things like that. All the vacation ideas and stuff were my idea because he wouldn't even think to do anything like that. It's sorta like Tom. Right, you just go, that dude, all of his entire income for a year would just be gone. He'd have nothing to show for it, not even a fucking phone or clothes. No, he would not. Alls he would do is spend it all on booze and drugs, and maybe go to the movies and get a pizza. That's nothing to show for your entire income for your whole year. It was supposed to be you were sober. Like, the dude just completely just right in the tank. Right in the fucking tank. I had you 5 months, you would have been like 7 months by the cruise. You know it by a thing that heats up hot water and 2 cups for my birthday present in your first year of marriage. Nothing for Valentine's Day, nothing for Easter. I don't even think he was around for Easter. Nothing for Christmas. He didn't even get me a Christmas card on fucking Christmas. Nothing. A bow. You can steal everything at a store, but you can't get your wife a fucking Christmas present. Anyways, that's why they have no cause higher than themselves. Not even their own fucking wife. They have no cause higher than themselves. He destroyed the thing with Steve where I was gonna give Steve that thing so Steve could ride the train on Thanksgiving and shit. Yeah. Like, first of all, I think that Brian, his psyche is psychopathic. And yes, I think that he definitely has developmental issues because probably his parents were crackheads. That's probably where it began. Like, he was probably born with an underdeveloped brain. Like, I tried to begin doing research about quote unquote crack babies and how many of them have, I don't know if they call that mental health issues in adulthood, right? When you ask a person why they didn't go to college and they don't answer you and they just get angry, I'd say they're probably mentally retarded. But yeah, you go, why wouldn't you just answer your wife when she asked you why you didn't go to college? Like, I didn't. It wasn't a fight or anything. It was just so. Why didn't you go to college? Like, you didn't think you could go to college or you want to go to college. You know what I'm saying? That's just to me. It's strange. I don't know. I don't think he's ever had a psych admit. So you go, you know that you have to talk to these people all the time, right? It might seem good at first, but So why didn't you go to college? You know what I don't like that I looked up today? They're saying that a licensed social worker, Manat Health, you find out things, right? A licensed social worker can actually request a Section 12 or at least a 3-day hold. So, in all of that time, for an entire year, they refused to do it even when they were asked. And that's where his provider and his therapist were. But I have to agree that I don't think that a licensed social worker should be able to have these sections. I've met a bunch of them based on what? That's different from the general public or the person's family. Yeah, that's that because if you're a regular social worker, you got to understand there's a lot of people out there now with these certificates or something, and they're gone in the head. I don't know if you've seen them on YouTube or you've had to work with some of them, or you've met some of them. Just it's like PTA gone mad. No one that has dominance issues and control issues should be a social worker, right? It's terrible. Like they become like a tyrant. Yeah. Like you're supposed to be doing that to help people, not all of a sudden you're on a power trip where you have the authority to do all this shit to people. If you're a licensed social worker, right? You don't know a clinical psychologist. Who do you work with? Right. I would think that a licensed social worker goes and consults with an actual psychologist or a psychiatrist, or maybe even the cops about, I think, is there any way we can help this person? Because I don't think they have the mind thought to get themselves to a hospital. Why would a licensed social worker have to initiate an involuntary psych hold? Yeah, in retrospect too, I'm pretty sure that someone actually tried to do that to me. I think it was 2024. It might have been 2023, and it was probably Brian or one of his friends, or maybe even someone from Faulkner Hospital that got a craw in their ass because of what I was saying. Yeah, because the cops showed up, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?" No, how did you get in here? You don't need a warrant to walk into the door and knock on the bedroom door. For what reason? No, I'm not threatening to harm myself. Yeah, here's my phone number, and thanks. And I did. I started asking them about my children in Florida, and they just bloop, turned around and ran out the door. For me, it's the easiest way to get rid of someone. Oh, we're not going near that. 18 tonight, I guess. It's going to be wicked bad Monday night again. See, I don't like that though. Yep. See, but I don't believe that licensed social workers should be psychotherapists. I don't believe that. I don't believe they're qualified to do it. My entire experience with the mental health field since I was a youth, I always preferred a psychiatrist. Right, but insurance doesn't pay for that. I'm sure most people prefer a psychiatrist, and I was never getting meds from them either. It's I prefer a psychiatrist. Because even I knew, yeah, I knew that these people are just, in a sense, pointless. Just if someone's going to you for a couple of weeks and every time I don't ask them because you have to be careful when someone's in therapy that you're not bothering them. It's not exactly your business what they're talking about. You have to really not do that. He just volunteered that they don't even say anything. There's nothing to, he goes, there's nothing to really talk about. What the fuck? There's nothing to really talk about in the first couple of weeks. He doesn't even know you. There should be plenty to talk about. Right. So the dude doesn't ask you any fucking questions. Okay. Not qualified. Not qualified. And maybe that's why they don't do it. You have to have patients that are me, and then it's pointless, right? You have to have patients that are me where we just are free with our talking. We have a video blog for that. We don't need licensed social workers for that. And then all you do is mail back and validate our feelings. That's not psychotherapy. It's definitely not psychoanalysis. You can't help anybody with an actual whatever you want to call that emotional problem. You can't do that. You can't do cognitive behavioral therapy. You have no interest in it. You have no interest in it? Okay, because either a person's going in there and vomiting everything at you, which is what people do to me, by the way. That's what people do to me. Bleh, and it's just your time's up, okay? Right. Or uh you have no interest in the person. You don't even have a starting point of questions, even when I gave you what's your earliest childhood memory? I gave you a starting point, how you form an outline module of a person because they're coming to you. Because no matter how much they video blog or how many detoxes they go to, or how many times they try to start over in their lives or get a girlfriend or whatever it is, they can't fix themselves. They've got something going on in their subconscious that they're in a denial about. They won't focus on what God wants them to focus on. They don't know why they're screwed up, why when they go out with someone, everybody runs away from them and stuff. They don't know. They don't know why they're having problems with personal relationships. They don't know why they're so lonely. They don't know why they can't stop drinking. They don't know why they have a friend, but then the friend, all their friendships fall apart. They don't know why. That's why they're sitting in your office. Okay, and you don't know how to get them to talk to you. God does it. You're not qualified to do it. You have no interest in it. I would, after the second, I wouldn't even let a person not talk to me. That's what I just said. I wouldn't let a patient who comes to me for therapy, I wouldn't let them just go, well, I take this for medication. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not a provider. Right. And I ask questions. You can't get the help that you want if you ever want to go, I really don't want to answer that. Okay, well, I'm going to note that that's something that you're not ready to talk about. And now we're going to talk about this because otherwise, why are you even here? Some people would actually take my wife made me come here for a reason. They actually would take that as an excuse. And you go, no, does she have a firearm in her pocket? That's not why you're here. Right. You might be here because of that, but it's because you actually want a better relationship with her. He wasn't even court mandated to go to that dude. He wasn't court mandated to go to Jane. Okay, it's just these people that would refuse to help this person, or at least give him the talking to that he needs and get some insights into his brain matter. Even if he's a psychopath with a binder, they can't even help him form a good new binder. No, they can't. No. How's the what is it? How's the Atarax? Yeah. Ask that person if I seem negative. Maybe naive and dumb. Not dumb, but maybe naive, right? Gullible, naive, trusting, really wants this dude to be what he says he is. Um, just the medication. Every time the psychiatrist did it, I'd laugh. And I told her why. It was like they're a never ending story, and she's asking him about the like a creature. How's the Atarax? Like she's gonna order up more creatures and stuff. I don't even think he laughed. Yeah, you just go, roll a couple of cigarettes. I got a Joe out. I don't know if I mentioned that. I think I did, even though I didn't walk. I'll have to walk tomorrow. What else you saying? Yeah, like I don't mean to be like I'm right about everything and contradictory. And it, I would assume licensed social workers do have a place for what they do. There's too many of them. It's sort of like logistical work, and that's why I came to actually appreciate my therapist. Once I went, okay, I'm not actually getting therapy here either. Okay. Then and then she did things for me that social workers do, and I did come to appreciate her, and I told her that. Right. I just don't think that they're not even going into social work to be therapists, but that's where the work is because insurance doesn't want to pay for, and they didn't want to pay for people to go to school to be psychiatrists or psychologists. Okay, just that's the work they can get. Um, Clearly, they worked with DCF. Um, some of that is to help families in need know about services. Okay. Not every person needs connections in the community. I don't like the language. Some of it shows a little bit of an artificial intelligence when you don't talk in regular words and you're talking like a textbook to just regular people that aren't interested in that. It comes off weird sounding. Okay. So, right, like DCF, it like helping them get therapists. They know where the food pantry is. Um, how to apply for SNAP benefits, how to get the emergency cash. Right, they know about the social services. Why are we not calling it social services? Why are we calling it connections in the community? Right, to help them with the social services if they didn't know about that. Um, some of them, like especially that work for DCF, some of the families may come to feel comfortable with the social worker, but I'm sure they're probably also referred out to therapists, right? Because whatever was causing that problem, the DCF had to be involved. Okay. Uh, it's good that they like the social worker because they're familiar with that person, but part of getting therapy yourself, it can be scary, especially if it's because DCF involved it. Okay. I really think that it's good to have a therapist that uh, comes right out with it and quote unquote basically accuses everybody of being sexually abused. Right? Like say DCF got involved because there was an accusation of child abuse in that manner, or any manner, but say that manner. I think you really want a therapist that goes, so what's going on? Like, what exactly happened? Who's in the family that um, has an issue with pedophilia or doesn't like children? Okay, who in the family hasn't gone to therapy to find out what's going on with them about? Okay. Do you have anyone in your family? Do you have any child abuse in your family? Like when you say you're the parent and it's you have children, and do you have anybody in your family that um, has a history of being abused? Okay, right, stuff like that. I don't know if social workers do that. Um, I don't know. I don't know because I don't get that personal with the psychiatrist. Yeah, I don't know. But clearly there are it's like AA. There are people, they just know it, like eating disorders. They just know it when they could be wrong once in a while, but they just know it. There's certain things. And I explained a bunch of it, which I'm sure we hope, and I would say that there's people that know this, that really specialize in it and talk to the people in jail that abuse children. Okay, because I explained some of the things that they do. Where I'll make something up that's not sexual. Okay, so you're the child, and an adult takes you um, to the library. Okay, and on the way back from the library, you stop at Dairy Queen and you have an ice cream. Okay, say you have an ice cream and a cheeseburger. Okay, then you come back. And immediately the adult says to the other adult that's your family member or your caretaker or something about, yeah, so we did the stopping over at Dairy Queen and had a cheeseburger. And then, right, never mentions the ice cream. That's what they do. I've had it happen to me. So I know that's what they do. So the child actually believes that everybody knows what's going on when the child is alone with that person. They actually believe that. So there's no point to report it. It's so that's a method that child abusers do. They report half of a story in front of other people so that you don't report what just happened and you actually go, I think you just feel that everybody's crazy. But you might have some children that then think that's what you do. And then when you're around children, you go and it becomes like a tradition where you say you go into the library, but on the way home, okay, because first of all, you set up a thing where it's okay to lie. That's part of what the family does. That's what the family does. You know, every time you go out with Uncle John and you say library, that you're gonna stop at Dairy Queen on the way. And so when you come back and Uncle John says we stopped at Dairy Queen on the way, that's what your family does. And then we say only one item that we got at Dairy Queen. We don't say the whole order at Dairy Queen, and that's what your family does. So, um, in terms of people that cycle on abuse, that's what you do. It's built right into the brain that that's a behavior that you do. And the family just accepts that. Like, there's literally in the mind, probably they think that everybody knows that. The other one is the special love one, and that's why you don't tell anybody. There's the one where um, the marital problems. It's like making the child feel bad for them all the time when they do something. Um, right? So that they don't report it because then they'll get in trouble, and then there's the threatening one, which is something I gather from other people and watching shows. I never had that one. I never had that one where, yeah, where you're terrorized because, yeah, and then there's also the like ones that are not even based on pedophilia at all, but it's acts that that person in their head believes damages children permanently, so they do it. Sometimes it's just gross language right up in your face when no one's looking. Usually men do that to little girls, right? And I'm sure they run around going, I never touched her. No one said you touched her, but that you went right up to her face and said nasty, perverted shit right in her face and then walked away. That's what we're saying you did. Right. There's some people that will like do what appears to be sex acts when it's actually just to damage the person. I don't know if that happens more with females than males. Right. I've never really had people that just openly talk about sex abuse like I do. So some people still, it's not like I want to talk about it every day, but they still clearly just get all weirded out by it, like it's still unresolved, right? It's still grossing them out. It's still unresolved. Um, right. It's just don't get involved in a relationship with someone if they seem to have issues. Okay. And then, uh, like they cut that conversation off right away and stuff. That just they might say, "I cleared out my videos, so I don't like to talk about it because it's too traumatic to me." That's a valid answer. Yeah, that's a valid answer. I don't really talk about it other than in a context like this. Uh, I don't have any unresolved issues from my childhood and stuff like that. I just don't. That's why in 2023, when that therapist goes for foreclosure, unless she just meant clearly this dude's gone. Like, if he just took off like that, he's gone. Does it really matter if he's dead? That was probably her point of view, but she didn't state that. Yeah, I get it. I thought she thought, like, yeah, like, oh, this is someone from your past and stuff. It's not. I don't, first of all, I don't get into personal things like that where I describe everything. Um, that is not even how that person was abusing me. Right, so you just go, "No, it's clearly not. It's clearly not." Okay. It's clearly not, right? So, that's like a disassociation when you yourself can't understand why a person is doing that to me and why I'm still homeless. Why would one woman be on a life walk for 15 years and everybody else is doing what they're doing? Yeah, in the community, yeah. Um, that's what I got on, Mass General's patient portal from the caseworker that was supposed to set up an appointment for Brian to have a physical, like a regular internist, a regular doctor. We would have probably even accepted a different nurse practitioner than the one at Mammoth that gives out the Adderall, like a regular physical. You just go, "You don't even have doctors anymore for physicals?" Yikes. Is it just because 'cause we're on Mass Health? Is it just because it's Boston? I'm wondering if it's because homeless people in Boston and Quincy can't get medical care. That's what I didn't know if it was everybody or not. Okay, so um, I don't know if they're catering more to the elderly so that they stay calm. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. It seems like there's elderly people going to doctors, tests, hospitals left and right, even admittance. That remains to be seen. So far, I think they're all being told everything's okay. So we'll see how it goes. Then that's your answer. They just tell them to pacify them and then tell them they're okay and then they die. So we'll see. Um, the case manager says something about you wanted a appointment with the PCP and help with making connections in the community. No, I don't need that. And I wasn't rude. I stated it nice, but I think it's because as soon as that person realized that they weren't talking to the guy that's a drug addict with brain injury, and they were talking to someone with that brain in her head, no more communications. Like, they don't believe that that person has a right to be this person's spokesperson. They don't believe that. It's bizarre. Yep. I will give Ben a credit for calling me. Yes, Brian has signed releases for you to talk to me 14 times. He told me he signed those releases for the mental hospital and they still haven't contacted me, you know. Yes, sometimes Brian lies, but you go, he signed a POA and he set up a patient portal at UMass Boston for me. He did that, you know. I didn't do that. He did it so that I get all of his messages and I can access his medical records there. He did that. So the guy didn't do anything wrong by calling me. That he should call me and inform me that Brian didn't show up. That's what you're supposed to do. Right. That social worker did his job, even though he goes, let me check the releases. Really, Ben? Yeah. He I'm his healthcare proxy, his spouse, and his power of attorney. Right. I think that he keeps thinking he signed every form he can sign, and he probably did. Like, it's just some people have mental illness, like I said, and they just can't get it in their head. I don't know what it is that they can't see that this man to me seems mentally incompetent. I'm sorry. I'm not like qualified, like I didn't go through school and what do you call it? School and internships and residencies and stuff, right? To be qualified to be going, this person's mentally incompetent. Even the psychiatrist told me that she doesn't do that. That's something else called forensic psychology. I mean, um, I met him 2.5 years ago, but we've been together for almost in May, it will be 2 years, right? Okay. So in May, it'll be 2 years we've been together, even with these takings off, and we just spent 5 months straight, 24 hours a day together where he never took off. I believe the man's mentally incompetent, okay? I think Tom Kent seemed more competent than Brian Buchanan does, okay? I'm not sure what is going on, if it because he keeps this time he drank before he got sectioned, because they told me at Spalding that it's difficult to do a diagnosis until a person is sober a while. He was sober for 5 months, he drank for 2 days. I mean, 2 days of drinking? Like, um, I believe that he's mentally incompetent. I lived with Tom Kent for a long, long time, and he took just the mood stabilizers when he felt like it, okay? And all he did was lay down. I think that if Brian could, that's all he would do is lay down, right? If you didn't make the mistake of putting him back on Adderall, that's probably all he's done in that hospital is lay down. I think he's capable of sleeping 24 hours a day. My brother did it 22 hours a day before he had to take care of my mother, and he wasn't even on the medication that Brian's on. If you thought it was just the medication, Scholastica, because I think Scholastica got concerned. We went camping for 2 nights because we were street homeless and it was raining. But yes, I noticed it too. But what else are you kind of gonna do? Yeah, I didn't sleep like that. No, but he did. I can't just sleep in a tent for 2 days in the pouring rain. Yeah. Um, I would say for him, I don't think it's just that it was raining. I think right. He gets up here, when he was here, he had to get up at 9 o'clock in the morning. I don't think he ever once just woke up on his own. That's the limit. When my sister wakes up, I make him get up. And every night at 9 o'clock, and I think if he was allowed to lay down before 9 o'clock, he would. To me, that's mentally incompetent. He doesn't seem depressed to me, he seems mentally incompetent. So, I'm just saying, that's when you don't cook for yourself, um, he hopefully he washed them, okay? Sometimes he'd go and wash off, like, his, dinner dish. He doesn't cook. Nope, he doesn't cook. He doesn't make a sandwich like they wanted to see if he could make a sandwich at Spalding. I think part of the problem is your OTs are not qualified, and you're probably rushing people out of there. A peanut butter and jelly sandwich, a man can't live on that. That doesn't mean you can, care for yourself. See if he can cook on a stove or use an oven. Okay? Just even camping, he wouldn't, gather wood. Um, he didn't feed the fire with wood. He never offered to, like, season his own food and stuff. Yeah, just 5 months with the person. On if walking through trails and stuff, he'll do it for a certain amount of time, but any opportunity he can get to convince you that that's enough walking, just he doesn't brush his hair, he doesn't brush his teeth, he doesn't use mouthwash. You have to tell him to take a shower and change his clothes. And this has been going on for years, okay? Right, so you go, "Now what are you gonna do, mental hospital? What are you gonna do now?" Because what you're doing is illegal. That's why. It's up to God. It's up to God what happens and how long this goes on for. They did this to me in 2023, but I think it's different now and it's worse. Supposedly, he was sober for 5 months when we were apart, and then you come to find out he was never sober. He was never sober because he was taking Adderall and smoking marijuana, at least in drinking. That's not sober. So I just told you for 5 months, and I believe he's mentally incompetent, and yet I don't get a phone call from you. It doesn't matter if we're separated. I am still his spouse, his healthcare proxy, and his power of attorney. I'm his payee if he gets Social Security, not you or anybody else. Get it? You're just making up things. Nobody's that greedy, and it's not that much Social Security. It's still up to me about his housing. You had a person that Brian was referred to by Ben, who calls Brian on his telephone. The man's mentally incompetent. Calls Brian on his telephone, doesn't set up a meeting for the three of us to talk when we're a married couple and he has brain injury. This is how sick they are. Okay. Then says a bunch of stuff in his head that I have to hear from him, and who knows if any of it's actually true. Okay. That he can get an apartment without me. What the fuck are you on? And then you're causing fights and problems. What the fuck are you on even saying that to a person? Okay. So then that's like he said at the hospital, I can't house him, but you can't go there. I'm your fucking wife and your caretaker. I may not go there, but you're going there under me going, yeah, that's okay. What do you want to do with Brian? What are your plans? Okay. Or no, I'm not doing that. And where's my I will have Social Security write you a check every month because I'm his payee. I just never heard of anybody doing this. Yeah, just everybody I talk to goes, "Whoa." Yeah, after a while, it's secondary about if Brian wants a marriage like sexual marriage and stuff with me, that becomes secondary. Is the man mentally incompetent? Then I'm in charge of him because I'm his fucking spouse's POA and his healthcare proxy. How are you not getting that? Right, Faulkner was a detox, by the way. He never made it to the mental hospital because you apparently you probably discharged him, not he just took off. Right. Um, you allowed him to self-discharge, and we weren't married then. So that was the excuse why you wouldn't just tell me that when I asked you, because we were engaged to be married at the time. Okay. And you didn't call Marie that time either. Did you call Denise? Denise is not his healthcare proxy. Legally, it's his mother at that point because his father's dead, and now legally it's me. And you still at a hospital call his mother, his aunt, and his brother when I'm his healthcare proxy by Massachusetts law, whether you have a piece of paper or not. Now you have a piece of paper and you're still not doing it. I'm doing my job. And you can get into all this other whacked out shit in your head all you want. It doesn't matter. It's like this, right? When he was in a coma on a ventilator at UMass Boston, did it matter if he was a psychopath that didn't actually want to be married to me? Because how would you even fucking know that? You wouldn't know that, would you? But some of you probably thought you did know that, and that's why you didn't call me, including his family. I believe he's mentally incompetent, yes. Um, how would he get housing without me getting housing, by the way? How would a person tell him that? This is why I don't like any of that business. I don't think that Brian has the mental capacity to see that that's wrong. Like, say that you go, well, he's a psychopath. How does a person calling Brian Buchanan on the phone 3 weeks ago know that? Okay. So that it can't be that. And if it is, you're even more insane. Catch my drift? Okay. Because he took off on November 18th. He had that conversation with that female before that. While he was sitting right here, married couple, going strong, 5 months sober. Never left my side. 24 hours a day for 5 months straight. Never did that before. So now you're telling him that you can't get him. Just say you can't get us housing. We should have never been referred to you. We probably referred to you because people want you to stop working. That's why you were referred. And you were supposed to be talking to either just me or to Brian with me there. You weren't supposed to be having a private conversation with Brian Buchanan on his phone about housing. I know you go, is that what the case manager did at UMass Mass General before he even went to Spalding? No. As soon as they realized that he had a wife and I was there, all of a sudden they all started talking to me because he's got a brain injury. So yeah, mental hospital, it's pretty bad. Nope, went over it. Those calls are supposed to be monitored, so you would have heard him tell me that it's too far to visit, and what would we say really anyway? And then, "Oh, but I do love you," and obviously, because the man is mentally incompetent, that's what I'm telling you. That's why he says contradictory things on all those phone calls. He didn't even know what was going on. First, he tells me, I guess I got sectioned someone sectioned me because I was, acting crazy. I'm pretty sure he said he was drunk too and acting crazy. He probably thought it was like when the cop used to throw him in jail for 3 days, and if he was sectioned by a cop, that's probably what they thought was gonna happen. Say the cops did that, I'm sure they did not realize, although they should have realized after Mass General, that you people weren't gonna fucking call me. I'm sure that unless they're insane like you are, they're probably mystified too. And they're not going to keep bringing people to your fucking hospital. They'll just put them back in jail like they used to do. They're only going to bring them to a hospital like that if they're afraid that there's something wrong with them medically and they're going to fucking die right in their jail and they don't want to be held responsible for it. You go, we sectioned that guy on Thanksgiving. You still have not called Mary? Oh my fucking God. You let him use the phone? He's drunk and acting crazy. No, you call her, not he calls her and says all this fucking weird shit. She doesn't even know what the fuck's going on. If you're a sane cop in the future, just put these people in your jail. Don't bring them to a fucking hospital. Right? Acting crazy, drunk, just put them in the fucking jail like you always did. That because that's not Quincy. This clearly didn't happen in Quincy. That cop that Brian hates, right? He was doing Brian a favor for at least a good year. Anyways, what else we got? It's an hour. Time is it? Oh shit, I said 5 for the laundry. All right, I'm gonna have to do it because I keep putting it off. I think I'll roll one cigarette first. I like to go at night because I figure that old people aren't out at night when it's freezing cold, so they don't get mad at me and report that I'm here and that I'm doing laundry and that it's only one washer. I'm definitely only using one washer. I have like 2 outfits. All right. She said actually not to do her laundry this time, but I usually do. I did it the last time I did laundry, but she doesn't have enough laundry to do laundry again. She likes having me here. Yeah. I think her friends like me too, honestly. But and sadly, I think they liked Brian too. So it's a little bit upsetting at first, and then it's just, of course, now they're sort of like to get this dude and stuff. Obviously, but they understand what I'm talking about, the legalities of it, though. Yeah, like it's nice to have people that don't go, oh, just don't even care, Mary, just let it go. It's nice that they're not saying that because they get it. They get it. You go, I'm not gonna fight a battle war over it. You go, now some person's gonna now deem this guy mentally incompetent and unable to work and then collect his fucking Social Security, and you're married to him? Holy shit. Some of these women have been with men that they weren't married to and then watch their families just fuck them over when the person gets sick or dies. So they know. This shit's been going on for a while. They go, you're actually gonna do it to a fucking married woman now? And then you, like I told you, you have some disgusting nurse who thinks everybody wants to fuck her, and she's getting off on fucking your husband and shit, and she's gonna buy him clothes. As I'm going to this hospital every fucking day, bringing the guy clothes and doing his laundry, she's gonna buy him clothes. Oh yeah, and then she starts talking about how they're taking people out in a boat, and aren't you gonna go, Brian, and stuff? And you go, and you're sitting on, you're telling Brian you can sit on the couch while he plays with himself in the shower with the door open? No, I know that's God because it didn't even dawn on him. I know it's God bringing it up because maybe somebody else found out about it and the chick was already fired. Right? You go, we trained her. We have family training here. We trained her to assist him in the shower. She's here every fucking day. Did you buy him clothes? Yeah, no, we gotta let you go. Yeah, we gotta let you go. Something fucking wrong there. And now he admitted to his wife that he tried to masturbate in this hospital. Did you ever once assist him in the shower? Did you tell him you could sit on the couch while he showered with the door open? There's no reason for you to be doing that. His wife was assigned to do it. Nasty, 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 nasty. You might think too, not to be mean, but you know how sometimes you know your husband's not the most attractive man, and then you look at a female and you go, yeah, there's no way. No, there is because they're sick in the fucking head. They're getting off on the fact that some guy is like getting off to them. It's a mental disorder because they're disgusting. And it doesn't matter how gross the guy is, especially when his wife is pretty. You got to think like a monkey. And while he's doing that and thinking about her and not you, you're better than her. You got to think like a monkey. Stop thinking like a human being. When you go, oh my God, that Mary, no one's doing that. He told me. I was there, and I'm not sure if he came back and told me she said it, or I actually heard her in the hallway say it. He may have came back and told whoever she is. It certainly wasn't a dude. Why is every single person in that fucking place a female, but yet everybody but one patient is a fucking dude? Why? Yeah, it's gross. I told you. I don't think it's new either. This concubine shit. It's every time a population gets fucking sick out of their head like that. Why don't you have male occupational therapists? And it was one after the other, like it's a teaching hospital or something, and you go, dude, remember when you thought, oh yeah, talk about negative. Remember he was getting fucking annoyed. He had no interest in that whatsoever, by the way. None. All those bouncing around 20-year-olds, he had no interest in that. He was getting annoyed. Right? Like, why do I have and it's another he goes, I already had OT because it's a teaching hospital. That's why. Right? Because other people's family and shit go, no. Who is he assigned to for OT? Every time the dog does that, I think my sister's coming in the door. I'm not talking about her, but I'm just talking about myself. Presumably. I think it's because the guy upstairs is walking around. This is actually quite a bit of laundry, but I think I might be able to get this in one mood. I figured to wash everything. And I know last time I forgot to wash stuff that was in my backpack. And I went, seriously? I probably should wash the scarves and stuff too because I was taking my walks, but I already have. I know I'm like, I don't have anything here. It's really not that much stuff. I've got like 2 jackets and then the towels and stuff from the bathroom. But that will probably fit in one room. That one little basket. Hold a cigarette. I guess I'll throw the stuff in the washer and then smoke. It's right where she's at. She offered to take to do it. I don't know. You're not doing my laundry for me, no. Well, nobody said anything yet, so yeah, I think the question should be, why am I not being get offered, you know? And then it's the same questions. Are these people Foxborough residents? How would they get in the housing like that? And they were talking about their age too, so they are starting to get it. Yeah, you go. We're not being confrontational. We just want to know what's going on because this woman is 54 years old and she's medically disabled and she's been homeless for 15 years. So how is someone that's 30 getting housing here before her? And I told you what they did to Champ, right? When they ask you, you can only go back to 2016. No, 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 no. I've been homeless since 2011 because it's a thing that pops up. And you go, whoa, they're even trying to hide that. They're even trying to hide that. I've been homeless since 2011. Why would you stop it at 2016? That's weird, isn't it? That might have been when they started using Champ. And I explained what happened. I was told I was a 24-month wait for an apartment in Bourne in 2016 or 17, and then I didn't get any mail because I'm pushed all over the place, homeless, and everyone pretends they don't know where I am. They throw my my mail in the trash can at Father Bill's in the post office and say they don't forward mail. Oh yeah, they. Why wouldn't you get cancer and die? I mean, really? You know you're lying. And then they said they removed me from Champ. Uh, some might say it's because I don't have an income. You're not supposed to be doing that. Doesn't matter if I have an income or not. Right, Social Security? Give me an income. You're not a business, it's public housing. The government funds it, not the person has to have money to pay it. If you have an income, because that's supposed to be fair. If you have an income, sure, but if you don't have one, that's why it's percentage of your income. If they had given me housing, right, and I get 400 a month, I pay 30% of that. All your utilities are included here, right? Then if I don't get Social Security, I pay zero and all my utilities included. That's why it's disabled housing, not I have to have an income. Right, and you use a SNAP card to get your food in a food pantry, not I have to have an income. But that's a nice excuse that people make up in their heads because they can't understand why these people won't give me housing either. Right, exactly. How are these people that are like half my age getting housing and I'm still street homeless? Some of them are drug addicts. Yep. They might be disabled, whatever their disability is, but they're drug addicts. From what I can tell, they all appear to be male. I don't know if that matters. Do they both get Social Security? The two I know about. You go, it's not supposed to be a business. The government subsidizes it. Anyways, gonna throw this laundry in, smoke a cigarette. I'm not targeting this particular place, by the way. I know you go, aren't you trying to get them to give you housing? I'm on Champ for like a million towns people. And no, I'm not targeting this particular place. But there's a lot of homeless people. Yeah, and we would hope that people don't retaliate because I didn't even say it had anything to do with the people running the thing here. I didn't even say that because I don't know who does it. I don't know who does it. I don't know if there's a person that has to tell these people, okay, look, this person. And then sometimes I want to know if that's the community because of some of these lotteries. You have to have a direct referral from some nonprofit. What? A homeless person is either homeless or they're not homeless. Why do they have to have a direct referral from a nonprofit? So those are criminals doing stuff. That's not even HUD. That's these subsidized housings with the lotteries. Yeah, that's not public housing. Okay, so anyway, let me shut this off so I can do the laundry.